Hey everyone, and welcome to along to Meet Your Trading Experts for today, the 11th of November 2021. As the year starts to scream along a little bit, my guest today, my guest today are robot programming, automation trading experts Jeff Oliver and Peter Mitchell. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Yeah, it's a good day to everybody.
Now, you guys are coming in to us live from the UK. How are things over there?
Wet, bleak, miserable, same as the UK generally is.
It is nice to know things are the same as always over there, Jeff. Look, we are talking about market scans. We are talking about trading robots. We're talking about that from all levels and perspectives today, and we're inviting questions from the group. Anyone that wants to put a question in. Look, if you're on YouTube watching this, just put it in the chat there, and Maya will bring it into the group and let us know. If you're on Facebook and you want to put a question in there, put it in the chat there, and Maya will bring it in and let us know. Bring it in and let us know. If you're on Twitter, we can't take questions from Twitter. I'm sorry, but you can come straight into YouTube or Facebook and do that. Nice to have so many people there already watching this. And a few more coming into the room. The 6:30 start gets a few people off guard. I know that. We can get a few people join a bit later on, around 7. I'm sorry to start a bit early, but it gets a bit later in New Zealand for us old folks as it stands. Look, Peter and Jeff, I thought before we started getting into the questions about automation and talking about market scans and robots, we might just ask a little bit about you guys. How long have you been trading? Can you give us, maybe in 30 seconds, a little history on yourself?
Sure. I've been trading for something like 15 odd years, dabbled a tiny bit before that, but more seriously, 15 years. And then for the past 10 years, I've been doing it professionally and earning a living from it. So doing a lot of development work. My background is computing, basically programming. So it's like going back to your roots, but using it to apply to something that you actually enjoy doing, which is great.
Yeah, nothing better, right? Doing something you enjoy and making a living from, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Peter, how about you?
Yeah, well, I've been a private investor probably for over 20 years. I guess I've been trading the markets for around about 12 years. I spent my career in the computing industry, initially as a programmer, then a variety of other jobs, but I've come back to programming now and applying it to trading. So that is my passion now, trading and programming. So it combines all my interests into one.
Cheers, and a solid trade along the way, right? I always think of you as being one of the clever traders in our group, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well, look, let's talk a little bit about it. So I do have some written questions for this, some notes to keep me on track, because I think we do need to keep this. Quite often these are quite spontaneous, but really we need to have a bit of structure around automation. It's there can be a little bit of technical stuff in there. Why would people bother to use scanners or robots instead of just doing these things manually? We've all done them manually for years. Why would people use scanners or robots to these days?
Okay, I think you got to be careful with the word instead. The electronic tools, the computer-based tools that we put together, are a fantastic adjunct to a well-educated and experienced trader. They shouldn't really replace completely, but as additional tools, they're fantastic. They allow you to do all your scanning, for example, much quicker than you would do. I remember as a trader sitting there at the beginning of the day and having to go through a best part of an hour's worth of scanning. You don't have to do that with the sort of scanner that ATW's got. It does a lot of that work for you. And in terms of the execution of those, we're studying now on robots that can help you place trades very efficiently. They're there 24 hours a day. You're not there 24 hours a day as a trader. And if you add that to an experienced trader's repertoire, you can get much better results than the trader just by himself.
Cheers for that, Jeff. Certainly one of the things that I've found since I've had kids is that efficiency of time is really important to me, and the scanner does save me a lot of time. And it's just as, one of the things that's really cool about them is you use them more, you trust them more, right? You understand that when you first use the scanners, you're concerned you're going to miss something because they're going to make a mistake. And then you realize after a few months that actually you're more likely to make a mistake than they are. They're going to get it right. You might get it right, you might not, but they are going to get it right for you. So what are the different scanners and robots you guys have developed for us? Or in general?
Yeah, so So I've been working with Actions to Wealth now for quite some time. I've seen the evolution of all of their strategies and been part of the development of those. So the core product, the market scan, that supports all of the Actions to Wealth strategies. So that would be Wave Rider, Even Greater, Flow, Daily Step is a new one we recently added. And there's also additional price action filters in those. So as well as developing the scanners for that product, I've also been working on a automated version of those alongside this, and it's now used as a testing tool to test all of the standard strategies. And I'm working to make those into standalone trading robots that can produce profits as standalone products in the future.
That's really cool. One of the things I think that people, people when they think about trading robots, think about the only use as being as a tool for trading, but really the trading robot gives us the ability to back test everything we do and check everything we do, and do it. We do it over 29 currency pairs, but you guys can come up with individual settings for one currency pair as well. So it does give you a different adjunct as a tool just from having the robot available, right?
That's right. Yeah. So so while the core strategies are based around generic settings, there's plenty of scope to optimize those, and that's one thing I've been working on recently. One of the recent developments is to apply a channel filter on top of Wave Rider to focus in on the currencies which are trending over the long term. And I'm now working on optimizing the channel settings for each of the currency pairs, and that will also ultimately feed back into the scanner.
Yeah, look, it's one of the really cool things, isn't it? So we're gonna launch the channel on Monday night to our general database and the Wave Rider update. Mike, if you've got a link to the Wave Rider update, can you whack it in the chat so people know about it? If not, at some stage later on, see if I can find one for you and put it in there for you to share. But if you've got one, that'd be great. So on Monday night, we're gonna show people how the new channel works. But one of the things that we can look to do, and this is where it really is cool, right, is we can say to on the road, we can say, okay, well, look, let's take away the trend filter and let's use the channel as a trend filter and see how that works as well, right? So that does give us an ability to test different. That's perfect. Thank you, Maya. As always, brilliantly done. Thank you very much. Yep, that's it. So it does give us an ability to really test the stuff that we want to test and look and try new ideas, because markets are changing and our minds are going to be open enough to change with them. Look, I did want to ask. So you said for a while, Peter, you've been doing this for a long time, and I reckon you've been working with us for probably nearly 10 years.
Yes, at least 10 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what are the main developments you've seen as far as scanners and managers go in the last year? How's it changed?
So I think the first thing we looked at was how to improve on the targets. To start, we had some simple targets, proportional targets. But when you actually look at what happens in practice, you find that quite often the price will hit some key level, a weekly pivot, a monthly pivot, or a level of a support resistance. And that's a great place to exit the trade or to take partial profits. So initial work went into how do we optimize those targets. And we found that with a daily scanner or daily robots, typically the weekly pivots are great places to take partial profits. And then we added in the horizontal levels. So we have tools to actually draw this on a chart. And that data is then fed back into the scanners, and that can be used to set the targets for the trades.
Cool, Peter. Thank you very much. So I think one of the things that people always ask is, how reliable is the technology?
Okay, well, the technology itself is very reliable. I mean, we've been building it for a lot of years, and we've knocked out a lot of the little problems that you get along the way. If you're capable of running a computer, you should be capable of, with MT4 on it, you should be capable of installing our stuff on top. It's a single installer we've done on top of your existing MT4. It finds all your MT4 installations on your machine and installs the tool on top of it. And you can then run the various scanners, etc., on your MT4 setup. So if you can use MT4, you should be able to use our products, really. It's as easy as that. Peter's going to do a demo, I think, a little bit later on of some of the new bits and pieces. And you'll probably see then that it's really quite easy to use.
Yeah, look, it's one of the things, isn't it? That installing people, I think it's one of the things that quite often with these things, the technology is a paper tiger. it looks ferocious, but really, it's just not that bad, right? And
Yeah.
the truth is that if you can put our templates onto your MT4, you can put the robot onto the MT4. It's exactly the same process, right? It comes in an installer, it runs through, puts it everywhere it needs to be, and you just drag and drop it on. It's installing. The technology is actually well taken care of for you by you guys, right?
Yeah, we even have an installer for your templates for you, because people sometimes have a problem with that as well. So we've made that a little bit easier. I mean, the basic product is very easy to use, really. And then in the more complex, the fuller products that do the trading as well for you, like Robot Trader, that we'll probably come on to talk about. We provide a fairly simple front end, but the back end is you can do a tremendous amount with if you want to get in there. So it's the best of both worlds. In a way, we try and provide a fairly easy start for people to get into automation, and then if they want to go a bit deeper, they can dip their toe in and then get stuck completely in to what they want to do.
So really, in essence, there's some sort of wraparound products included, but in essence, there are three basic products, right? There's the daily Waverider market scan, which is set up for people who have done our IFP course, which can scan for the daily Waverider and can place those trades. There's the full market scan, which does a number of our strategies, a number of other things in there as well. Lots of bells and whistles on that, which is more for the people on the mentorship pathway. And then there's the robot, which is available to the platinum mentorship students, which literally places the trades for them, manages and does the whole thing, picks them, places them, does the whole thing. Whereas on the market scan, the scan shows them to you, you pick them, and then it manages it for them, right? Look, can I ask Peter, I'd like to have a look at both the daily Waverider market scan and the full market scan today. Could we start? Could you give us a bit of a look around the basic daily Waverider market scan?
Yep, sure. So let's just start by sharing my screen.
Look, while Peter's doing that, it's great to see so many of you guys in the room. Do remember that if you ask any questions today, you get a second entry in the draw to win the prize. There will be a prize at the end of this session, as always. It's a prize that people interested in automation will really like. So if you ask any questions, we will try and get them to the guys. We do have a lot to get through today, and automation's a bit more structured, I guess. So we'll get as many of your questions asked as you can. But if you have any questions, put them in the questions box and ask them, and we will speak to the guys and get those questions to you guys, to them as quick as we can for you guys. You having problems with sharing screen?
Yeah, I think I might need you to share it. It looks like only the host can do this sharing.
Look, I'll just make you you're a co-host, Peter. So you should have screen sharing. Do you have it at the bottom? Do you have the menu at the bottom?
I do. Yeah, it's appeared now. Yeah, so I was getting a message saying, but this should work now. That's yep. Okay, so you should be seeing my MT4.
Look, just as we go before we go into this, I'm going to answer Gary's question. The new market scan will be released on Monday night after the Waverider update that we're doing. So during the Monday night session, we'll show the channels and that kind of stuff, how it works, and we'll release the market scan as part of that, the newest version of it. Back to you, Peter.
Okay, so this is the daily Waverider setup. So there's a new template. I'm going to show the new version with the channel as well, Paul. That's what I got set up here. So there's a new template that you get, ATW Daily Waverider channel. So that's is the existing template, but with addition of this channel here. So this is based on 50 bars, and it shows you the longer term trend. And basically now we're aiming to trade with that trend. So this will it will filter the entries and just give you entries with this trend. So this is the daily Waverider version. So you'll see the three new Waverider strategies: hunting dog, falcon, and jaguar. Now they're essentially all the same filter, but the difference is that each one of those has its own hot list. So basically, we've done some extensive testing of all of these strategies, and each one has different targets depending on your personality. And we've matched this hot list rating here to show what are we found the best results from our back testing. So if I look at, say, Falcon, and we'll just get a couple of the opportunities that popped up. So yesterday would have been a great day for trading these. There's some really big moves yesterday. So if we just scan through these, this is the browsing tool here. So let's go back to yesterday, and we had a big move in the euro dollar. So there we had a retracement again with this channel trend, small bar, then big move down there. I think that was largely down to the US CPI news. So had you been in that trade there? This says that you've got a one-to-one with the Falcon strategy with Jaguar. You could have got a 2.4 reward to risk. It would probably still be in the trade, or maybe taking profits round about now, because this is the level of support resistance here.
Yeah.
So that would have been a fantastic trade to be in yesterday.
And that's just bouncing off the 20 EMA, right, Peter?
That's right. So this blue line here is the 20 moving average. Yeah. So and as you see here,
can I ask you a couple of questions? Sorry, Peter.
yeah, far away. Yeah.
There's some. So S&R is the support and resistance that it's bouncing off.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Price action is the type of bar in there.
Yes.
Next one is reward. So whether it's 1-to-1, 1.8, 1. That's the reward to risk ratio is the next column, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then the rating, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, euro US dollar was a 3-star, hottest one. Gave you an entry, and that entry would have paid several to one, right?
Yeah, 2.5 to 1 is the with the Jaguar strategy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And the nice thing is that you'd probably got that profit all in one go, because it's such a big move that because sometimes a Jaguar can take a number of days to play out. But this would have been a really rapid profit with this particular trade here. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So look, if you want to, people can just literally click on the pair, and it takes you to that chart, right? So you can go through these. If you wanted to, you can go through these 9 pairs in probably 5 or 6 minutes, as opposed to doing this manually, having to find the 9 pairs first and then go through them, right?
That's right. And I spent probably 1 minute before this call just browsing to see what opportunities there were. I marked them. This is the watch list here. So Aussie CAD. We had a bounce there off the weekly pivot and the Aussie. But all of these, we had a lot of possibilities yesterday. But I think that was the best one.
And we'll talk a lot more about the strategy changes in the session on Monday night. But one of the things we've done is we've shortened up this watch list, right? So with the channels on there, some of the changes we've made, we're going to see less options every day. So you don't have 30 options on the scanner anymore. We'll have 9 to be quite a lot, I would have thought,
That's right, because what you want to see is the best quality trades, and not to have to browse through the whole market, because that's the scanner's designed to reduce your workload and your browsing time.
So this is the daily wave rider market scan. Can we have a look at the full market scan, Peter?
Yep. So this is the full market scan here. So with the full market scan, you get additional menu items in the control box here. So you get the legacy wave rider, that's still in there. The 3 new wave rider strategies. And you also get a couple of these time frame correlation and market directions of all the strategies. And then we get additional results in this results box here. So you can see now we're showing, as well as the bounces off support resistance, we're showing breaks of the weekly pivot. So there you can see that the euro dollar also broke the weekly pivot yesterday. So I mean, obviously today we wouldn't be trading that because such a big bar. We wouldn't, but if you look at that yesterday's entries, pound Swiss, that gave us a break of the weekly pivot there. So that would have been a valid entry there. In fact, I personally took that trade yesterday. So there's no bounce there, just a break of the pivot. And that was one I liked, and I entered that manually yesterday.
Look, one of the other features of both these versions that I really like is you can click on next weekly pivot on Friday, and you can see where the weekly pivot is going to be on Monday. So over the weekend, you can do your analysis and you can know where weekly pivot is going to be before MT4 sets it up, right?
That's right. So that's very handy to see. So that's where it would predict it's going to be. It's only got a few days this week, but yeah, if you want to know if it's stepping up or stepping down, you can use that tool there, or for the daily pivot and the weekly pivot there.
Right, and look, once you've found one of these trades, how difficult is it to actually to take one? If you wanted to come back to today's scanner and take one of those trades, how difficult would it be?
It's just a matter of pressing a button, really. So let's say I was going to take the $1 trade yesterday. Let's go to Falcon. And I use the plus button to step the scanner back to yesterday's bar. So go to $1. So if I wanted to take that trade, all I'd have to do would be to say new, brings up the order window. I can use the default parameters. I guess the only decision really is what risk do you want to take on it? The default risk is 0.1%. Personally, I typically use 0.25. So I'd enter that in there and then sell. That is all you have to do. Everything else is taken care of.
From that point on, it'll run the trade, do it for you to complete completion, right? It'll hit your target when it hits and do all the management for you, right?
That's correct. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool. We've got a question from Gary. Where's the flow step in income creators? Do you want me to answer that, or would you guys like to answer that?
I can answer that. So the answer is it's in there. So at the moment I'm showing demonstration versions of the software, which is based on people who've just done the WaveWriter course. If you've done the Flow course as well, then your account will be configured to automatically recognize that, and then Flow will be added into the menus. So let's say I create a new chart, daily chart, and I'll drag on the standard product here. And my account should be configured with Flow. And there you go, Flow is configured in the menu there.
Income creators on there as well, right?
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's as before. Mm-hmm. And one thing to point out, we talked about channels. There's a button in here so you can turn the channel filter on and off so we can see what difference it makes. So with that checked there, that means that the channel filter is applied. If I turn it off, you can see that now we've got 19 results. Apply the channel and that's reduced to 10.
Great. Okay. Really cool. And we'll talk more about the changes to the strategy. We have got some, the stuff we're teaching is a little bit different than stuff we've been teaching in the WaveWriter. And we'll do that on Monday night in the session, which might as well put the link in if you want to be on that. Be with us at 6:30 Monday night for that. So look, that's Trade Manager Market Scanners. So basically, depending on your level, these things will find the trades and trade them to conclusion for you. And that, they're going to do this with 100% accuracy. Basically, they know the rules perfectly. And as long as you set the risk and push buy or sell and the right one, buy or sell the right one, it'll take care of all the stuff for you, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, we don't call this a trading robot because we've still got to pick the one we want to use, and we've got to push buy and sell, right? Mm-hmm. Trading robots are different, right? How's a trading robot different?
Okay, well, the trading robot uses the same core technology. The code for the robot is common to the scanner and the robot and market scan. The difference is that the robot will actually execute the trades for you. So it'll apply all the same rules that you have in the scanner here, but it'll take every trade. It can take it any time of day because it's just running there 24/7 on a BPS. So it saves you having to spend any time in front of the charts. The robot will just do all the hard work for you.
Great, interesting, guys. Good to have so many of you in the room, guys. We do appreciate you guys being here. If you have any questions, put them in the questions box and we'll get them to Peter and Jeff and get them answered. We're going to have a bit of talk about trading robots in the next period of time. As I said at the start, we will have a prize draw at the end. And if you've asked some questions, we will give you an extra entry into that, of course. So I want to talk trading robots. And I guess that, again, for mine, I think there's a little bit of confusion or perception around trading robots. How easy is it to use a trading robot?
If you can use this sort of software, then you should be fine with a trading robot as well. It sets up automatically, the same as our other software. And it comes with some basic strategies ready for you to use if you want to use it at that level. If you want to do more, you can do an awful lot more and program your own strategies with it, and we can take a look at that a little later on. There are benefits, definite benefits in running any trading robot on a VPS because it's on all the time. And if you're just running from a home internet connection, of course, it's not necessarily on all the time and not quite so safe. And you want it to be as safe and secure and running easily for you. So basically, yeah, it's not a major problem getting it set up, not a major problem running it.
Okay, so you run the trading robot course on the Platinum Mentorship. Can I ask you guys a few questions specifically about that for people who are interested in how these trading robots work at that sort of level? We'll come back into some of the questions in the chat in a minute, if that's okay. So if someone, first of all, how long is the trading robot course? How long does it take to learn to use a trading robot from you guys?
Well, the course is run the course of 1 day at the moment, or 2 half days. And in that time, we can cover everything you need to know about how to install, how to set up, and also how to optimize and design your own robots. We cover quite a lot in that course. It's a very intensive course, but it's pretty comprehensive.
Sorry, tell me that again. So in a day, you teach them how to optimize their own robots,
Yes.
create their own settings.
Yes. So we start people off from the basics. What is a robot? How does it work? We talk about strategies. We talk about how to set it up. And then ultimately, we all move on to optimization. And by the end of the day, everybody on the course should be able to run a basic optimization based on some settings that we provide as a starting point.
So when we talk about a robot, right, what we're saying basically is this is something that you guys have programmed. They don't have to program their own robot. You've programmed the robot for them. You put it onto their system. It goes on their chart, and they say, I want to test this, or I want to trade this, depending on where they're up to.
That's correct. Yes. So as part of the package, you get a collection of settings, and you can actually take those settings and trade those straight away on a demo account or at low risk on a live account if you wish.
Look, I've got a pile of questions coming in. We'll count them all in the draw. I'm going to go through the questions I've got up on the screen here because I think they overlap to a degree. And I'll see if I can come back and catch any that come in that don't line up. But I think one of the questions I can see here, which I really do like, is there a need to tweak the robot on a regular basis?
Yes, you can do that. I mean, in general, I review the settings on robots maybe every few months. But if it's working well, then the best thing is to leave it. But if you find that maybe it's not quite working how you'd like, or once you see it trade, you sometimes say, well, actually, what if it took profits at this level rather than this one? So yes, it will evolve and you can tweak it over time if needs be.
And people on the Robot Trader program, they can have access to your settings and do their own, right?
That's right. And we do encourage people to actually get involved and to create their own robots. And we're happy to review those and to work in partnership with people because people have new ideas. I mean, I've had some very innovative ideas from people who've done the course in the past. So it's great to have that input, somebody else's thoughts coming into this.
Look, I'm going to get back to these questions up here. I'll come back to the questions from the room in a few minutes. So what can people expect to achieve after they attend the course?
So it depends how far you're going to take it. If you just want to be able to understand automation, take some settings and trade your account, that's the simplest level. You can just come away with some settings and trade those on your account. If you want to go a step further and to actually design some robots or design your own strategies, even you can take it really as far as you want. You can end up creating your own robots if you wish.
Great. So is it beginner friendly?
Yes, it is. I mean, basically, we should let people know nothing about automation to start with. There's a whole area of MT4 that people probably haven't used. And we start off from the basics, take people through all of the optimization features in MT4, take them step by step through everything you need to put together a complete automation system, how to set it up on a VPS, how to track the results. So we cover the whole range of topics you need to fully understand and implement automation.
Okay. Look, so people can come in who've got no idea what automation is, and in a day we're gonna set them up, put them on a VPS, give them some settings, and show them how to create their own settings, and that can all be done in a day for people who've got no technical, well, very little technical information, technical knowledge, right?
That is right. Yes, and also as part of the package, we will provide assistance to people who need to install in the VPS and install in the software. That is part of the deal.
So what will be some of the tools that are provided as part of the course?
Well, the key tool is the Robot Trader Expert Advisor. Everything is really built into that one expert. Then alongside that, you get a number of indicators which support the robot. So I mean, all the indicators you get with Market Scan, we supply those with the robot as well. These horizontal lines you see on the chart, you get the tool to draw those. So if you want to create your own levels, you have the means to do that. Then you'll get documentation on the robot, and you'll get a range of settings, and also instruct you how to use tick story, because that is what we use to for the back testing data. It's a third-party product that we also teach you how to use on the course.
Now, when people do this, right, they could, in fact, we talk about a robot, but in reality, a robot's trading, as an example, you could be trading the hourly wave rider, the 4-hourly wave rider, the daily wave rider, the step, your own optimization on euro dollar for some of those, your own optimization for Aussie New Zealand on some of those, your own optimization for Aussie CAD on some of those. So you could easily have anything from one to any number of robots going, which is why people are going to ask a lot about returns, but the returns depend a lot on how many robots and how you've programmed them, how specific you want to be. There's huge variation, right?
That's right. There's many choices in there. I mean, ultimately, you probably want to choose, say, your 2 most successful robots, maybe running on different timeframes or different strategies, so that if one draws down, hopefully others can compensate for that. I mean, too many robots, you might end up doing too much drawdown at one time. So you just want to pick your best results, your best robots, and trade those.
Look, I think the last 2 questions that I've got in this area, you've already answered. I'll just check. So there will be a working robot available straight after the course, right? So literally they spend a day with you guys and the next day they'll have a robot ready to go, right?
That's correct, yes.
And do they have to input their own settings, or can they run it with provided presets?
So you can do either. So the best thing is to start off with the settings that we provide, because they will be what we've optimized and what we've tested. But if you have other ideas, or you want to optimize those and play around with those to see if you can improve on those, of course, we welcome people trying to better what we already have. Then you can do that as well.
Great. Let me get through some of these questions, because I've got a few coming in. We might have a little look at it. There's a few questions saying, can we have a look at it? So the answer is we're going to have a look at it, but let's get through some questions. How long does it take for one to set up a trading strategy on for the robot?
So for myself to do it, I can do it in 15 minutes, but for a novice, they've got
a bit longer.
Yes, they've got to understand quite a bit of components of the robot. So that depends on your level of expertise. But once you've done the course, once you've had some coaching and mentoring, you'll be able to spend the day with the settings and designing a robot. You'll probably have a bit of conversation with myself or Jeff, but you will be able to create your own robots, because the robot trader itself can actually execute many strategies. It can do bounces, breakouts, touch of levels, all sorts of things. So there's many options in there, and we'll teach you how to use all of those.
So how will the robot understand the attitude of a user, like falcon, hound dog, etc., hunting dog, etc.?
So they essentially refer to different targets. So hunting dog has 3 targets, falcon 2, jaguar 1, and the robot trader can do exactly that. It has a TP1, TP2, and a take profit all, and you just choose those to match the hunting dog, falcon, and jaguar.
Is the step strategy available on the robot?
So that one we haven't yet automated. I've recently built in the channel feature into the robot. So given that, we probably have all the components so that we could actually look at attempting to automate the step strategy as well, but it's not available today.
Right. So perhaps by tomorrow morning.
Well, yes.
Doesn't mean the computer got to be on all the while using the trading robot.
So yes, because the same applies to market scan. If you're using market scan to manage your trades, your computer has to be on all the time, because so TP1 and TP2, trading stop loss, they're all soft targets. So the management software, whether it's the robot or the scanner, has to be running 24/7 to manage those.
Fantastic. So for the robot trader, do all the trades have stop loss set?
Yes, they do. I never trade without a stop loss.
Can we do back testing with the trading robot to test the strategy?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
You're going to give us a look at it, Peter?
Well, Jeff is going to do that. So
do an optimization and do a quick run through.
Over to Jeff.
Yeah, certainly. Let's see if I can grab the screen and we can show you some of the technology behind it. Where are we? Screen. The options. Okay. Do you have to stop Peter's?
No, you can. You share screen. You should just be able to take over, Jeff.
Yeah.
One of the things people understand, mate. Everyone thinks that Zoom's really easy to use, and Zoom is actually just a little bit quirky. It's quite difficult to get your head around the first time you use it. It takes a minute to get the hang of it. There you go. Your screen sharing, mate. It's all good.
Lovely. I'm on a single screen at the moment with this machine, so excuse me if you're seeing absolutely everything. One of the things I should say before we start about Robot Trader that some people sometimes don't quite get until they're into it, and then they go, it's not a single robot. It's not like buying a little black box. You know everything that's going on with it. So there's no black box involved. What there is a fantastic trading engine that Peter's developed over many years that behaves very well indeed with a multitude of different settings that you can put in it, but each setting that you put in makes a different robot. So you can have multiple robots. So it's not just one product. Effectively, it's the engine, and then onto the engine you can put the different settings which make the different robots. And then on top of that, you can then control the intricacies of how those robots run if you want to. So this is how we go about optimizing a particular strategy within the robot trader setup. This is a third-party product that we help you install during the course. It's called Tick Story, and it grabs detailed tick data from the internet. One of the MT4 is a wonderful low-cost, free, effectively, product for trading, but there are some things it doesn't do very well, or does better for the broker than it does for the user. And one of those things is the strategy tester that, for example, is very crude. So to get it away from that crude results that you can get, we want more specific results. When we do our testing and back testing, we use Tick Story for tick data, and that enables us to grab all the pair data back for a year or so, however far we want to go back, and use that for specific testing. So I've got here Tick Story running with loads of pairs that I've grabbed over time, and we're going to fire off the MT4 setup from behind that to do some optimization. So up here we can go tools, and we can launch MT4 from here, and that will some dire warnings, of course. What would software be without dire warnings? In a moment or four, we'll see. Just coming alive, and here we go. Let's put that back over the top here. Oops, don't need an account connected for that. And here we should have a standard MT4 setup. So within the MT4 in Strategy Tester, I've loaded up the latest robot trader. It's not quite available yet. That will be while this is development version, and then you go on to pick the currency pair that you wish to test or optimize. In this case, we're going to show you a quick optimization to show you the sort of things you can change. Now, if I go to the expert properties, I can see the insides basically of Robot Trader and the things that you can change. And there's a lot there, and it's quite frightening when you first look at it, but it's not really. What we've done is we've enabled a simple way of just loading set strategies, but then you can go in and you can tweak just about everything that you might want to tweak. And what we're going to look at is how to tweak one of the parameters to get better results with an existing. So if we go and load up a strategy here, we can go load, and then we can pick one of the provided strategies. In this case, let's go for the Falcon Daily, and we can open that up, and it will pull in all of the settings for that. And we could just run that. If we just ran that in Robot Trader, that would give us the Falcon Daily with channels. But we may have decided that we've run this for a bit and it's working rather well, but we believe that it would be run even better if, for example, instead of the generic approach, which we have to take in the standard training, where we teach everybody to do everything the same way for the same currencies, we decided that there were groups of currencies, for example, that might do better with their own settings. Maybe we're trying to trade gold or something like that, and it's got a different personality. So all of these settings we can go down and try, but if we went and tried them all manually one at a time, we'd be there for a very long time. But there's a very nice optimization mechanism built in here that we're going to use. So if I come down here a little bit, let's have a look at the new channel set up a little bit further down. It's tucked away in here. You can see all the sort of settings talking about. Let's find the channel one. There we go, there's channels. Okay, so you can see all the different parameters that it's utilizing, and you can test different versions. And what this does is, we're looking here at the number of channel bars that it uses to calculate where it places the channel markers. And as we vary that, it will vary how the bars are printed on each chart, and will vary how the robot performs. If I went through it and I wanted to try 50 of these, I would have to try it with a value of 1 in there, and then a value of 2, and then a value of 3. I'll be there for a long time. But the generic parameter here is 22. But if we want to test from 0 to 50 and go up in 1, so test 1, test 2, test 3, all I have to do is tick what I wish to optimize, and then we can come back to the main screen, pick our currency. I'm using US dollar CAD for this one. Make sure that we're on the right setup here daily and the sort of spread that we're getting from our broker. And then I can pick a time frame. So this is like the last year basically, and it will download the data from Tick Story for the tick data for that entire year. So each tick of data basically will have the entire year, and I can make sure optimization is then ticked, and I can just run it. And if I click start, because we've run it previously, it's not as quick as that normally. I wish it was, but that's because I ran it earlier, so it's done all 51, and it's pulling it back from memory, from cache. Normally it would take a couple of minutes for each run, so I'd have time to go off and make a nice cup of coffee. But once it's done its run, we can have a look at the optimization graph. This can be a little bit difficult to see. I don't know if people can see this clearly, but the dots are the results here. So the better the dots, the higher the profit. The profit's down the side here for that year of trading. So up here in the middle, we can see this is about the highest, and it's a nice wide setting. So between a setting of about 25 to, where are we, or 28 is the optimum for this currency pair for this strategy. So we're looking at a profit there of about 100%, and 10.5, okay, on that one. And then we can have a look at the specifics of how that would run. If we pick that 20, where are we, 27, let's say. If we go back into the expert properties, we can change that to 27. Where are we? Difficult to see the little box. 27, where is your little box? There it is, the channel bars. It's 22 at the moment for the generic. If I change that to 27, like that, go okay. Okay, and if we switch off optimization, we could run that then with 27. I haven't actually set that up on here, but I can show you that. Or Peter, do you want to demonstrate robot trader generally at this point?
Do you want to just see what happens when you run start? And
Yeah,
see
yes,
okay.
It gives a back test.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so if we run that now, we'll see what happens when it tests just that single parameter that we've changed. We should see some improvements. And
go to the graph.
Are we? Oh, sorry.
Can you click on the graph tab?
Yeah, what we can see now as it trades, you can see the individual trades taking place as it automatically goes through and decides whether it's ready to trade, takes a trade, closes the trade, and then sits waiting for the next opportunity. And I suspect that's probably, oh no, it's still going strong. Bum, bum, bum. I never look at this when it's doing it because it's like a watch kettle never boils. But yeah, so we can see here it's tracked for us the equity and the balance as we go, and we can see that that's quite a nice curve, because at the end of the day we're not just interested in what's the final number it got to in profit, but we want to see that there's no big drawdowns in there. We want to see that the thing's not completely flat for the whole of the year and then gets one trade at the end of the year that makes a reasonable profit, and that's a nice curve that would be of interest to continue something with. Okay, shall I leave the optimization at that point and let you take over looking at full-blown robot trader, Peter?
Yes. So Paul, what would you like to do next?
Geez, look, that's so. What we said there, Jeff. If I can just sum it up, is that you've taken a generic approach. You've had a look at. You've decided to test a range of results in one area, which is the envelope, the length of the envelope. You've said, okay, around 27 is pretty good. So you're just going to run 27. You've got to go, well, I can't see the results. Sorry, on the screen. What was the result over 12 months, Jeff?
Okay, let's have a look at the report. It gives us a report. That's the and this particular one didn't make a fortune. It made 550 net profit on the 10K. So over here you can see the rest of the figures: gross profit, gross loss, but with a nice low drawdown. So actually, when you're looking at that, you might decide to up the risk a little bit, because the drawdown is so low here that you might want to scale it up a little bit on this particular robot, or indeed add it to a portfolio. When you have a number of robots all making a small profit, you get diversity, and one of the things you want is the diversification, so that if something's in a little bit of drawdown, something else is making profit, you don't get any nasty surprises when you wake up in the morning. You're looking at a much smoother curve in an upward direction, hopefully. So this tool for the ability to break down every single component inside, as an example, let's say the wave rider can break down every component in there, which EMA we should use, what type of reversal bars we should use, what we should bounce off. It can test anything like that we want in the strategy, whether it's a hunting dog, or whether a hunting dog's working today, or whether the Jaguars worked over the last year. It can just test all of those things individually and give you individual results, not only for each component, but for each currency pair. So we can just say to you, look, with euro dollar, bounce off the 50 EMA, with Aussie New Zealand, bounce off the 15 EMA. I can go into that kind of detail for you. Yeah, exactly that. And that's about as complicated as it gets. And you don't have to go there if you don't want to. You can, but within a day of the course, we can have people understanding that in detail and able to optimize things themselves, which is great. So it gives them the flexibility, to either run a strategy as it comes out of the box and hardly touch that at all. But as soon as they want to get in under the hood, they can get in there. It's like being an F1 racing driver, or turning yourself into a bit of an engineer and lifting up the hood and tweaking the things exactly the way you want it.
Is the cat okay, Peter?
Yes, so even my cat takes an interest in the automation. He's just had his breakfast, but he might be wanting some more.
Mate, he likes warm keyboards.
Let's do a few questions before we get to having a bit more of a look at it, if we can. Can the robot configure the limit for max trades running?
Yes, it can. So you've got a number of limits in there. You can set the maximum number of trades it takes in a day. You can set a max drawdown, so it will start trading if you exceed a certain drawdown. You can also set a maximum consecutive losses.
Some of the things that Julian's quite big on is max consecutive losses for breaks.
Mhm.
Does the robot generate a performance report as well? Can it do a weekly performance report? Can it do a monthly performance report? Can it do these kind of performance reports as it goes?
Well, if I share screen again, then I'll show you some of the tracking that we can do. So when all right, okay, here we go. So share screen. Right, okay, so
Sorry, Peter, I don't know if you've frozen, but right now I can't see, I can't hear anything from you. I can't see what you're doing. Peter, are you still there? Have we lost Peter? I think we might have lost Peter. We've got Jeff, but I think we've lost Peter.
I think the cat has sat on the keyboard.
Look, we're going to do a prize, and look, if you're interested in, look, obviously the robot's part of the Platinum Mentorship Pathway. The Daily Wayfinder Trade Managers we saw earlier was something you can just contact actionstowealth.com if you're interested in that. We'll talk a little bit more about prices and that kind of stuff on that. Most of you've got that stuff, but on Monday night we'll have another look at it. I see Peter's gone. I imagine that Peter will log back in a second, and I'm going to talk for a few seconds before he comes back because we're also very close to winding this up. If you want the membership version of the trading software, again, you have a package. The packages are made available to you guys on that when you join. If you want more information on that, we'll be doing that on Monday night. But again, you can also just go to Charlene to the mentorship groups, and she'll help you with that kind of stuff. Look, the trading robot is we've optimized recently straight through all the Wayfinder stuff, all the flow stuff, a lot of the step stuff, a lot of that stuff. Lloyd does a lot of that stuff individually. We've got a team of people trading or testing this stuff all the time to tell us what the best settings are. And then we have individuals inside the robot trading team who can go away and come back and say, hey, why don't you try this? And, fascinating stuff. Some of the stuff I oversee it. It's one of the things that I just don't have the time to do it, but largely how the trading program, the testing program works here is that quite often we meet with Jeff and Peter as well as Lloyd and talk about ideas. And then I'll send Lloyd away and say, hey, Lloyd, can you send the team, can you ask them to test this today? And the next day, can we test this? The next day, can we test this? And we'll look at those results and go, okay, well, that's interesting. What's working, what's not working? And what fascinated me more than anything else when we started doing this was how much all the traditional stuff isn't working. All the stuff that you see online that is, just doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked for about a year. And it amazed me when I saw it. And this is why we've had to get quite nuanced around the way we run the Wayfinder and the strategy and continue to develop it. We've still got as Peter calls it, the legacy Wayfinder, the one that we use on the indices. We'll talk more about that in other places as well. Do you think he's coming back, Jeff?
I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. He's normally quite rapidly back. So all we can do is wait.
Wonder if it's power cut. Look, guys, I'm going to go to mine 2 minutes and do a prize draw. And if Peter comes back, then we will get him to share something else if he wants to say something else about it. Look, it is for mine. It's a real personal choice thing. And look, for me, trading robots, the market scan trade manager, really important. They save me a lot of time, and I really need to save that time. I'll be really efficient in my time when I trade. I'm not looking to trade for as long as I can. I'm looking to make as much money as I can, and there is a real difference. I think as well as a beginner trader, it's really good for you to have the scanner, but just go through and look at some charts, and you can literally just flip through all the charts and have a look at all the different setups, and you can go back to them day by day and go, okay, well, on Monday I took this one. These were the options, and you can just run through and see them. Last Wednesday there were these ones, and I took this one. These are the options. So it's really good for that revision, able to go back and have a look at different things and see if they're going to make if you got it right or wrong. Did it work or didn't it work? I did this because of this. This is what happened. What have I missed, if anything? Sometimes it's just the market doing those things. Look, I'm going to assume that Peter has lost his internet connection, or the cat has unplugged something that won't plug back in. And we're going to start and wind this up. Before we do that, we're going to do a prize draw. Now, we're going to give away a 3-month subscription to the the relevant market scanner. So if you're on the mentorship pathway, you can have the mentorship market scan for free for 3 months. And if you're not, you can have the daily Waverider market scan for free for 3 months with the ability to trade our strategy. So it'll show you the scan, you pick the one, it'll trade it for you through to completion. Before we do that, Mike, I know you'll be setting this up, you'll be madly adding people in. And remember, guys, if you're not in the room when we do the draw, you can't win the prize. You've got to stay in the room to do the draw to get the prize. Otherwise, we do redraws. Jeff, look, a lot of people run robots on VPSs. I've got a desktop here. It's pretty simple. It just doesn't turn off. It's not allowed to nap. It's not allowed to do anything. It just stays on the whole time. And for mine, Windows updates are only done on weekends, and they're done at my discretion, not the computer's discretion. So if there's an update, so it never resets. If you want to do that on a desktop, you can do that. With the Trade Management Market Scanner, I believe you can turn it off, because a lot of the stuff that's soft set in there happens at rollover. And you can turn it on every morning for 5 minutes, and it'll update all the settings for you, and then those settings will hold on for you. But the other way is a VPS. How much is a VPS? If they want a virtual private server or virtual private network VPN, they're called sometimes. If someone wants one of these, Jeff, how much does it cost? And they can run a number of versions of the robot on them, right? How much roughly to get into that?
It ranges from sort of free to quite a bit of money. You get what you pay for to a certain extent. Some of the brokers, for example, if you have a decent sized live account with them, basically they've got your money, they'll give you a free small VPS to use. More likely, people are going to want their own small VPS because they're not necessarily running a large enough account to get the free one from the broker. That's typically not more than about $20-25 a month. And they go up from there depending how well connected they are. The majority of the ATW type strategies aren't scalping strategies. There's nothing there that needs that is codable really with Robot Trader that's going to be something that you have to be very, very close to the trade server of your broker. So there's no point in spending $80 a month or something like that on a very snazzy VPS that's in a London center or New York center, right close to your broker's server, which gives you the minimum latency time. So your trade's first at the queue, you see stuff quicker, and you see all the price points sent to you. So to start you off, really, I would say you should be looking at spending not more than probably about $25 a month or something on a VPS. But the reliability that gives you is great. I mean, once you've got a VPS, you'll probably find yourself using it for ordinary trading as well, because you can obviously connect to the broker. You just log into the VPS, and if you're in the middle of doing something and it breaks, stuff's still happening from the VPS. Whereas if you're on a laptop or something, trying to do some trading live, it's a recipe for disaster, really. So far better to use something stable.
Look, thank you very much for that, Jeff. Peter's just told me that he's trying to get back in. His Zoom froze. Mike, can we do the prize draw? There we go. Got a few in today. Yep, lots of people in today. As always, people love robots, don't they? People love trading robots. They are amazing. Look at that. We're going to have Tom, and he's going to be wrapped, isn't he? Look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. As many people know, Dominic's just joined the Waverider team. He's the first one of that team for about 5 years. He's helping he's pretty pleased too. He's helping the Waverider. He's joining the Waverider team from early next year. So what I'm going to do is, because he's staff, we're going to do one more draw, please. Why one more draw, please? Just so it doesn't look like we've rigged it and given it to one of our own people. You know, we'd hate for people to think that we have to do that for 3 months of market scan subscription. Let's go again. No Crystal today. No, Crystal always tries to win. Oh, that's really not your fault, Dominic, at all. It's all good. And look at that. Kamal. Oh, Kamal. I think that's the questions. So, Kamal, you'll get the either the daily Waverider or the full market scan as well. I see that Peter's back in. Peter, you with us?
Yes, just trying to share my video. But for some reason, Zoom just completely froze on me.
Yeah.
That's okay, mate. Mate, if you can't pay the internet bill, you can't pay the internet bill. That's, that's right.
Yeah. Right, I'm back.
Look, Peter, what I'd like to do, and congratulations to Kamal and Dominic. We've done the draw. We're right on time. I've got maybe 5 minutes here. What I'm going to ask is there anything you'd like to share about Robot Trader before we finish up? And then I'm going to ask for a final thought from you and Jeff before we wind it up.
Okay, so Robot Trader, has got some exciting new robots in development. The key one being this new daily robot with the optimized channels. So that's just an early stage at the moment. I've just thought, as I was hoping to show you just now, it's taken 8 successive winners so far.
Can you show that?
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to try to have a look. I mean, let's yeah.
So I don't know how much you actually saw then. I was talking away and I realized that everything was just completely frozen.
we saw nothing. You were gone.
Yes. Yeah.
We've been doing cat jokes for about 5 minutes waiting for you to come back.
Yes.
Are you okay to see your screen?
Yes, I'm just showing a screen now. So you see my screen now.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got into
my
my
VPS looks like, guys. If you know, this is what a VPS looks like. This is Peter's VPS we're logging into now. As you can see, he's got a few of them as a robot guy. He's got a number of VPSs in the background. Here you go.
So so as you can see, I run quite a few different MetaTrader 4 terminals. Some are demo accounts, some are live accounts. So I have a number of tests. So here I'm comparing 2 robots side by side. So I just started this test here on this terminal here. So this is the Falcon Daily robot with optimized channels. And just to show you what's gone into this, I've spent the last week optimizing every channel. I went through all 29 currency pairs. That was my data there. So basically, I found that 4 currencies were not profitable. The rest were. And these are the channels that I found for each currency pair.
That's the length of the channel, right?
It is, yeah. So that's the number of bars in the channel there. So this robot, every time it trades, so it shows you what the opportunities it's found. So that's similar to the output from Market Scan there. It shows you, the robot also shows you a list of its trading opportunities and the level it's bouncing off. And it'll automatically select the optimized number of bars for the channel for each of these robots. So the point where I lost you, I think I was just explaining about how Robot Trader tracks the results. So it has this information here. It displays on the chart. So it shows you the total profit, monthly profit, and the daily profit, number of trades, and the success rate. So this has taken 8 winners, no losers yet. The profit factor.
So it's got one going backwards pretty quickly at the moment, Peter.
Well, it's 0.5% in loss, but it's also taken a profit today of 0.42%. So, but this might be.
This is a $100,000 account that's made $8,000. Is that what we're saying? Was this a case just for other things? Am I misreading that a little bit? It's quite hard to
so it's a 3. So total profit is 3.37%, $3,500.
Right.
So it's got a few trades at the moment. It's got 1 winning trade. So you can click on the symbols and it will just switch to the chart so you can see the trades quickly. So this is the trade I also took manually yesterday. In fact, I closed it this morning because I could see that maybe it's going to retrace. But Euro Swiss, that can be a slight. So yeah, today we're getting a bit of retracement after the big moves yesterday. So the trade you really wanted was this one here. I probably entered this yesterday. So that was really, had the robot been running for some time, it would have probably been in that trade and not this one now. But overall, it's the overall result that amounts. So that I can see that's getting some good results. So that's how you get a quick look at how a robot is performing, just based on the text is color green for profit, red for loss. So you can see at a glance how it's working out.
So I've got a question that's coming, I think, from YouTube from any plans for MT5 in the future? I think I know the answer, guys. Are we planning to go to MT5 in the future?
So, I mean, MT5 has some really cool features, but we have an extensive software libraries developed for MT4. And I think MT4 is so widely used that there's at the moment that there's not necessarily a compelling reason to migrate to a new platform. I mean, I don't know how difficult or easy it would be. I suspect it would involve a fair bit of work in migrating to it.
Look, it's one of those things too, that at the end of the day, it's a great question, because the truth is it's not our choice.
Mm-hmm.
If Fusion Markets take away MT4 and go to MT5, and we want to stay with them, we're going to MT5, right? If they can get off of both, that's the way it is. But for now, MT4 works just fine for me. It's certainly my preference. And look, I know there's some people that like to get in the stocks and that kind of stuff, which there's more of an MT5, but I don't. In fact, the new broker we're going to, we're leaving IFS this week, Peter. If you guys know that we're leaving IFS this week, and we're going to go to a new broker, and that broker has probably just a few less currency pairs that they trade. I quite like that. I don't need 50,000 options. I need to be able to find the ones that are going to win and to do that really efficiently. Look, anything else you're busting the shots before I let people go, Peter? We're 5 minutes over. I don't take too much longer if I can avoid it.
I think you've seen the flavour for everything we have at the moment. So, I mean, if anybody has anything they'd like me to show, there's any remaining questions.
How about Peter? How about final thought from you? What's great about optimization or automation, and where are we going?
So my personal goal is to have a collection robot which is producing steady profits per month with low drawdown, and that's really what I'm working towards. And then to be able to share that with anybody who takes part in the automation course.
Jeff?
Yeah, virtually all my trading now is automation of one type or another. I don't like sitting in front of a computer screen looking at lines going up and down all day long. I'd rather be doing other things like coding or learning more about different possibilities, etc. And it does that for me. So it's a good regular way of doing things. I'd rather be the overseer of the little tools that we create, doing the work rather than being the actual worker, and that's what it gives you.
Cheers for that, guys. Look, for everyone who joined us today, thanks for being with us. Join us next Thursday. Yet to confirm, but I think Leon from Denmark may well be our guest next week, coming to talk about what's going on and the difference between bank trading and retail trading, and how retail traders can make money from what the banks do. That'll be another fascinating interview. I'm going to confirm him tomorrow morning, so will you guys know that in the broadcast groups next week. Peter, Jeff, thank you very much for your time and for all the work you do on this. Hope you guys who are joining us, have joined us, have got a real insight into how all this stuff works. As I said, the robot trader course remains on the Platinum Mentorship pathway, as it has been for some time now. We'll be offering a chance to, if most of you have got the Trade Manager Market Scanner, we'll be releasing the new version of that on Monday night. And if anyone doesn't have it, if you come to the Wave Ride event, we'll be able to talk to you guys about the various packages that are available for that. So again, my thank you for your help. Jeff and Peter, thank you for doing the interview with us. Really appreciate it. And for those who joined us, have a wonderful night. Thank you very much. See you guys all later. Cheers.
Yep. Thanks, Paul.